have you with us. This is the big story. I'm Avni Raja. Let's start with the top story that we're tracking at this hour, which is the latest in the Tenkasi custodial death case. Now, the latest update is that the Madras High Court has now questioned the Tamil Nadu government as to why the post-mortem in the case was done at night. This is in this entire case, to give you a background, of the farmer who died suddenly after being questioned by the Forest Department in Tenkasi. The state responded saying that the post-mortem has been done as per the collector and SP's request. This when the court was hearing a petition seeking a CBCID probe into the case. Farmer's family claims that he was picked up by the Forest Department and after he allegedly electrified his fence to protect the crop from wild animals. Let me go across to Pramod, who's joining us for more details. Pramod, if you can take us through all the latest developments, what are the issues now that the court has raised? What's been the response of the state?
Well, the state government has given only one statement, that is from the chief minister, who has said that a 10 lakh solatium and government job will be provided to the family. But the family is not at all satisfied with the way the chief minister has said so, because the daughter of Anekari Muthu, the 62-year-old farmer who was taken in for questioning on the 22nd July around 11:30 a.m. in the night, the daughter claims that all she expects from the state government is empathy and action against those who are responsible. The complaint given by Anekari Muthu's son has named 5 forest officials who had taken him for questioning, but no action against him so far. A judicial magistrate has done an investigation. In fact, the daughter claims that the report from the magistrate actually showed 18 injuries on his body. So that's the reason they did not want to conduct a post-mortem without a representative from their family, but apparently it was done. And that's what the Madras High Court has also questioned. The thing here the Madras High Court is also trying to emphasize is that why the autopsy was done after 4 p.m., for which the state does not have an answer. The council has only said that it was done as per the request from the collector and SP. Currently, the Madras High Court has once again stated that the preliminary autopsy report and the CD of recording must be submitted tomorrow in the court in a sealed cover, and the investigation is expected to continue. This case is also gaining a lot of traction because this is the alleged 4th custodial death from the state of Tamil Nadu since June.
All right, Pramod, thank you so much for joining us with all of those details. That's, of course, the latest coming in the Tenkasi alleged custodial death case. But let's move on to the other big story that we're now tracking, which is the Rajasthan political crisis. Now, hours after the Rajasthan cabinet meeting chaired by Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, the state government has sent a revised proposal to Governor Kalraj Mishra, seeking the state assembly session from the 31st of July. While the cabinet discussed the points raised by the governor, state government made it very clear that they are sticking to their original demand, this responding to the governor's query about the safety in light of COVID. The proposal has been resent now, and the government said the decision is the prerogative of the speaker. Meenakshi joining us on the phone line. Meenakshi, there has been so much to and fro as far as this assembly session is concerned. And it's still not over because the state government is clearly sticking to its demand and saying has resent a proposal of 31st July. Meanwhile, the governor did raise several issues yesterday as well over the holding of the assembly session.
Well, that's right, Avni. You see, this was earlier an issue which was a row between the speaker and the purported dissident MLAs of the Congress party, and we saw how that panned out in the High Court and then the Supreme Court, where the petitions were eventually withdrawn from the Supreme Court. And subsequent to that, we saw the row escalate between the office of the governor and the chief minister. And like you rightly mentioned, the governor's communication yesterday to the chief minister was very, very significant, because the governor had imposed so many conditions and had also sought satisfaction on a couple of issues that it virtually made the convening of the assembly for the 31st of July nearly impossible, something that Ashok Gehlot has wanted since the very outset, ever since he started demanding for a special session of the assembly. And that is what we showcased to our viewers yesterday, that the relationship between Chief Minister Gehlot and Governor Mishra is something that could run into choppy waters. Furthermore, now with today's developments, where this cabinet conducted a meeting and they reiterated their original proposal of wanting to convene an assembly by the 31st of July, because sources close to Ashok Gehlot have indicated to Mirror Now why he is insisting on a quicker convening of the assembly is because he feels the more time goes by, the more there is scope for horse trading to take place. That is one of the key reasons Ashok Gehlot's camp has indicated to Mirror Now about the Chief Minister's insistence to convene the assembly for or by the 31st of July. Something, if one goes by the communication of Kalraj Mishra, the governor of Rajasthan from yesterday, is nearly impossible to happen, because he is also seeking, the governor is seeking for a 21-day notice period for the convening of assembly, so that according to the governor, all MLAs can attend. So clearly, Avneet, this is a fresh flashpoint that has emerged between the governor and Chief Minister Rajasthan.
All right, Meenakshi, thank you so much for joining us with all of those details. So that's one angle, one issue that is still being fought, but the other side, there is yet another angle where BSP will file a petition in the Rajasthan High Court tomorrow against the merger of 6 BSP MLAs in the state with the Congress party. Now, this move follows a surprise whip issued by Mayawati to 6 BSP MLAs in Rajasthan who had extended their support to the Gehlot government after the state elections. Now, she has told them not to vote for the Congress in any proceedings that may take place in the Rajasthan Assembly. Now, BSP chief has alleged that Gehlot had merged the BSP MLAs unconstitutionally after the state election results. Listen.
श्री गहलोत ने अपने मुख्यमंत्री बनने के बाद हमारे सभी 6 विधायकों को असंवैधानिक तरीके से कांग्रेस में विलय करने की गैर कानूनी कार्रवाई की। अब हमारी पार्टी ने कोर्ट में जाने का उचित समय पर ये सही फैसला लिया है और इस मामले को हम ठंडा नहीं पड़ने देंगे और इस मामले को हम आगे तक ले जाएंगे, सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक भी ले जाएंगे। कांग्रेस ये जो बार बार गलत कार्य कर रही है, संवैधानिक कार्य कर रही है, इसको सबक सिखाना बहुत जरूरी है।
याचिका का ग्राउंड यही है कि माननीय जो विधानसभा अध्यक्ष महोदय हैं, उन्होंने हमारी याचिका को पूर्वाग्रह से ग्रसित होकर के खारिज किया है और उन्होंने अपने आदेश में कहा है कि जो मदन दिलावर ने याचिका की है उसमें उनके आदेश की कॉपी जो पहले उन्होंने बसपा के सदस्यों का जो विलय किया था उस आदेश की कॉपी की सत्यापित कॉपी नहीं लगाई है और उस पर हस्ताक्षरित नहीं है। ये पूर्वाग्रह से ग्रसित था। हमने नई याचिका लगाई है और यही ग्राउंड लिया है कि माननीय विधानसभा अध्यक्ष महोदय ने हमको सुना ही नहीं।
Meanwhile, Priyanka Gandhi has hit back at Mayawati's whip to 6 BSP MLAs, asking them to vote against Gehlot. In a tweet, she said that BJP's unofficial spokespersons have issued a whip to help the BJP. This is not just a whip, but a clean chit to murderers of democracy. Moving on now to the city of Bengaluru. Beginning today, Bengaluru markets have been permitted to remain open, but the city's civic body, the BBMP, has asked for a slew of norms to be implemented. But when Mirror Now's Neha Hebale visited SP Road market area, several shopkeepers were seen violating norms. In fact, there were no police officials or civic body officials who were there on the spot to keep track and to check on implementation in the area. Take a look.
Various markets across Bengaluru have in fact been permitted to remain open by the BBMP starting today. We're looking at market areas such as the SP Road and various other roads, such even as in fact parts of Chickpet as well, which is known to be full of traders across Bengaluru, which have been thrown open. But very unfortunately, like predicted, there is absolutely no social distancing that's being maintained between the people over here. You're also seeing, how several rules were mandated by the BBMP, such as, a mandatory sanitizer at each shop, at least a 6 feet distance between two persons, that is even if it is a customer and a shopkeeper or two shopkeepers within the shop itself. Apart from which also several other rules that you can very clearly see which are being flouted over here out in the open. You can see more importantly how that this area and around these areas also there are still several cases that have been reported, and while the rules that are supposed to be followed over here is that each road will have, you know, one side of the shops that can be permitted to remain open on one day. Meanwhile, the other side would be allowed to open the shops on the other day. But here what you can, you know, actually see is that there are several shops which are, you know, flouting this norm, wherein both sides of, you know, the road are seeing shops open. So the bigger question, you know, really is that had the BBMP thought this through? Because even now, as we are, you know, right in the midst of this market area, we can't really, you know, see any police persons also over here, or any BBMP marshals for that matter, who are enforcing the social distancing on ground. So this is, you know, really going to raise alarm. And at a time when, you know, Karnataka is in fact seeing a high number of cases, when Bengaluru has been reporting a high number of cases, and the government, you know, of course, all measures of the government have failed in containing this. The question is, of course, you know, while the economy must go on one side, why have no measures been put in place to actually ensure the social distancing and the safety of the shopkeepers as well as the customers when they come to buy? In Bengaluru with video journalist Pradeep, this is Neha Hebale for Mirror Now.
Police has to help us. They have to join with our association. BBMP officers have to join to make it success. We are putting our all best efforts. We have sent stickers, we have sent circulars, what to be done, what are the social guidelines to be followed, social distancing, then wearing mask, then sanitizing. So this is taken care by all the shopkeepers, so no problem.
Meanwhile, from Karnataka, let's move to Maharashtra at a time when Greater Mumbai has seen a sharp increase in COVID cases. A story of hope from Thane's Bhivandi. Now, Bhivandi has witnessed a sharp decline in growth percentage of positive cases and COVID deaths, and that is being partly credited to a number of Mohalla clinics that have been set up in the area. Now, at least 30 Mohalla clinics built by volunteers have helped in early detection of cases in the region in the past 2 weeks. These voluntary medical clinics built across the bylanes of Bhivandi offer free treatment as well to patients in the area.
हमें यहाँ पे माशाल्लाह अच्छा ये रिस्पॉन्स मिल रहा है और डॉक्टर वगैरह बहुत अच्छी खिदमत कर रहे हैं, वो हिसाब से हम लोग आए। काफ़ी लोगों को नफ़ा भी पहुँच रहा है, अच्छी सर्विस भी हो रही है दवाइयाँ वगैरह के ताल्लुक से।
यहाँ पे 2 दिन से बुखार कम ज़्यादा हो रहा था तो इसलिए आए थे। हाँ, कम बहुत कम खर्च है यहाँ पे, नहीं के बराबर है समझो।
यहाँ पे जो दूसरे पेशेंट्स जो हॉस्पिटलाइज किए जाते हैं रेस्पिरेटरी छोड़ के मे बी सस्पेक्टेड अगर पेशेंट रहा तो वो यहाँ पे एडमिशन भी किए जाएंगे। जैसे डेंगू हो गया, मलेरिया हो गया, टाइफाइड हो गया, दूसरे जनरल सर्जरी के पेशेंट हो गए, उसके अलावा रेस्पिरेटरी नॉन सस्पेक्टेड, ठीक है, उसमें सस्पेक्टेड नहीं है। अगर हमको ऐसा डाउट लगता है तो हम लोग रिफ़र करते हैं, वो पेशेंट रखते नहीं हैं यहाँ पे। यहाँ पे अभी डेली मॉर्निंग इवनिंग मिला के 250 से 300 तक टारगेट जाता है कंटिन्यूस। लेकिन जब से ये स्टार्ट हुआ है पेशेंट का रिस्पांस अच्छा है, उनमें इतनी अवेयरनेस आ गई है कि अगर माइल्ड फीवर भी आया है तो उनको मेडिसिन लेना यहाँ आना है।
तो यहाँ पे पेशेंट जो है यानी उनका एक तरह से उनको ये बहुत आसानी राहत मिल गई उनको। यहाँ पर आने के बाद उनको जो इनिशियल स्टेजेस के अंदर जो उनको ट्रीटमेंट मिलना चाहिए वो उनको यहाँ पे मिलने लगा। ओपीडी वगैरह तो हो रही है, आईवी भी लगा रहे हैं, उनको ज़रूरत पड़ती है, इंजेक्शन की भी ज़रूरत पड़ती है, तो वो भी हम उनको दे रहे हैं उनको। और दवाई तो देते हैं, जो उनको ज़रूरत रहती है वो मिल रही है उनको। एक्चुअली डोनेशंस के ज़रिए से आ रहे हैं। कुछ लोग जो देखते हैं कि भैया काम अच्छा हो रहा है वो भी डोनेशन दे के जा रहे हैं, इस तरह से काम चल रहा है।
Failing to get treated in private clinics or other clinics inside Bhivandi, the locals took it upon themselves to ensure that people get timely treatment. Called as Mohalla clinics, about 30 of these Mohalla clinics which have cropped up in the past 2 months in Bhivandi are providing OPD services and other fever checks and routine checks to people here in Bhivandi, thus encouraging them to come out and get checked at the earliest. We are inside one of such Mohalla clinics in Bhivandi, which is established in Hindustani Masjid. Yes, this is a clinic which has been made inside the masjid. People come here on a regular basis to get themselves checked of fever and other symptoms. There are also people who come here to take treatment, immediate IV treatment if they require to be put on saline, in case if they have typhoid and other diseases. And all of this at a treatment cost not exceeding ₹100. if the people are coming just to get checked for fever and other symptoms, the maximum cost that is being taken from people is hardly ₹10. In fever clinics, people started coming increasingly because they got tested for their symptoms. The tested rate, the rapid testing that was required, that increased to a significant level, and which is why now about 30 mohalla clinics are ensuring that people are getting tested at the earliest in Bhiwandi, which now reports about 254 deaths. With video journalist Rajesh, this is Neha for Mirror Now from Bhiwandi.
Moving on now, ahead of the Ram Mandir Bhumi Pujan that is scheduled to take place in Ayodhya on the 5th of August, UP Deputy Chief Minister Keshav Prasad Maurya visited the city to oversee the preparations today. He also visited Maidas Ram Chavni Temple as well and met Mahant Nritya Gopal Das to take stock of preparations for the grand event. In fact, as Ayodhya gears up for the Ram Mandir Bhumi Pujan event, Times Network Siddhant Mishra spoke to Satyendra Das Maharaj, who has been the priest of Ram Lalla since 1992. The priest revealed that extensive prayers will begin a day prior to the Bhumi Pujan event and also shared details of the prayers that the Prime Minister will be taking part in as well. Take a look.
आपसे समझना चाहूँगा कितना ऐतिहासिक, कितना भावुक क्षण होने जा रहा है आपके लिए, क्योंकि आप सालों से रामलला की पूजा करते आ रहे हैं, रामलला का ख्याल रखते आ रहे हैं।
देखिए, यह एक ऐतिहासिक ही नहीं बल्कि यह समझिए कि बहुत दिनों से जो राम भक्तों ने एक आशा लगाई थी कि हमारे प्रभु श्री राम जो जननायक है, जिनके लिए कहा जाता है कि वो साक्षात परमात्मा यह मानव के रूप में उत्पन्न हुए। रमन्ते योगिनो जस्मि नित्यानंदे चिदात्मनि इति राम पदे नासो परब्रह्मा विधीयते। परब्रह्म परमात्मा वह समय दूर नहीं है जब भगवान श्री राम का भव्य मंदिर बनेगा।
कितने पंडित इस पूरी प्रक्रिया में लगेंगे महाराज जी, और किस तरह प्रक्रिया शुरू होगी, कितनी देर की पूजा होगी, कौन से मंत्रों का उच्चारण किया जाएगा?
यह प्रक्रिया एक दिन पहले शुरू हो जाएगी। अच्छा। क्योंकि बहुत विस्तार पूर्वक करना है, थोड़े देर में नहीं होगा। उसकी समाप्ति जो होगी वह है इसके 5 तारीख को 12 बजे के बाद समाप्त होगा। प्रक्रिया एक दिन पहले शुरू होगी। अच्छा। जैसे हमारे नवग्रह हैं, वो नवग्रहों की पूजा होती है, गौरी गणेश की पूजा होती है, ठीक है ना। उसके बाद जितने भी प्रतिष्ठित देवताएं हैं उनकी पूजा होती है। ओम ब्रह्मा मुरारी त्रिपुरांतकारी भानु शशि भूम सुतो बुधस्य गुरुस्य शुक्र शनि राहु केतवः सर्वे ग्रहा शांतिकरा भवन्तु। ये 9 ग्रह हैं, इनकी पूजा होगी कि इससे किसी प्रकार की बाधा इस मंदिर में न हो। अच्छा। उसके बाद जिस समय ये आ जाएंगे हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी, तो 5 ईंटें की पूजा होती है। पांचों ईंटें का नंदा, भद्रा, जया, पूर्णा उनके नाम हैं। उनकी पूजा होगी। ये जो शिला है वो चांदी की शिला बनाई गई है, उनकी पूजा होगी जी।
वो वक्त क्या है?
12:15।
और उसी वक्त प्रधानमंत्री शिला रखेंगे।
वो शिला जो रखी जाएगी उसके पहले आ सकते हैं, पूजा होती रहेगी। पूजा क्यों, बहुत देवताओं की हमारे यहाँ हैं, सबकी पूजा होगी, सबके आवाहन होगा, सबकी स्थापना होगी। लेकिन जब ईंटें रखे जाएंगे तो वही समय हमारे विद्वानों ने निश्चित किया है कि 12:15 पर वो शिला स्थापित किया जाएगा।
Moving on now, there's no end to Jungle Raj, it seems, in Uttar Pradesh. In the latest incident, a family of 10 in Ghaziabad were held hostage and robbed at gunpoint. At least 6 armed robbers broke into the house at 1 a.m., attacked the family, tied them up and locked them in the bathroom. Now, the robbers then ransacked the entire house, robbed cash and jewelry worth lakhs. And after the robbers fled, the family, with the neighbors' help, reached the police station to report the case.
बेटा, आप हमें थोड़ा सा ये बताइएगा, क्योंकि आप उस समय रात में थे, आपने देखा, आपके साथ ये मंजर हुआ, आप लोगों को बंधक बनाया गया, 3 घंटे तक वो लोग रॉबरी करते रहे और गालियां देते रहे, पीटते रहे। आपके शायद जो फादर हैं, आपके जो दादा हैं, उनको पीटा गया है, ग्रैंडफादर को। क्या हुआ था, हमें पूरा सीक्वेंस में बताइए।
वो आए थे किचन के साइड से, हाफ डिवाइड हुए थे, हाफ उस साइड गए, हाफ इस साइड बोले गए थे, और उन्होंने हमसे बोला था कि कोरोना टेस्ट के लिए आए हैं वो लोग यहाँ पे, तो शांत बैठ जाओ, अगर तुम कुछ बोलोगे तो मार देंगे, गोली मार देंगे, चाकू मार देंगे। और एक मेरी दीदी के इधर मारा भी था उन्होंने गन की बैक साइड से, तो उनका ये एरिया सूजा हुआ है पूरा। और फिर हम सबको बांध के, हमारे हाथ बांध के हमें बाथरूम में लॉक कर दिया था। फिर उन्होंने सारी अलमारी वगैरह खोल के चेक करी और जो भी कुछ था सामान सब कुछ लेके चले गए।
मैं भाग के आई तो इन्होंने मैं यहीं की यहीं दबा ली।
ये कोरोना क्या बोल
ये कह रहे कोरोना वाले हैं, हम कोरोना कर देंगे, तुम्हारे कोरोना कर देंगे।
अच्छा, फिर
ये डरा रहे थे। मैं कह लगी कोरोना क्या हो चीज़ होवे, क्या है कोरोना।
फिर
मैं कोरोना नहीं दे थी, कह लगा मैंने इसकी गिरवान पकड़ ली, मैंने यहाँ से पकड़ ली, मैंने छोड़ी नहीं।
तो आपको पता चल गया था उस समय तक ये रॉबर हैं या
हाँ, ये हाँ डकैती मुझे समझ गया कोरोना वाले क्या रात को आ रहे हैं। जो बड़ी वाली चिल्ला लगी, बड़ी गई इसकी जो है ये है हमारी, इसके मारती उसे, कह लगा दूसरा कह लगा उसे जान से मार दो, वो चिल्ला रही है। मैं किसके ऊपर लौट गई, मैंने उसे जान से मत मारो, जो तुम्हें ले जाना वो ले जाओ। ठीक, उसने फिर हमें यहाँ बैठा दिया, हम बैठ के चुप्पी सारे के सारे। तो फिर इन्होंने हमारी चादर, जो पलंग पे चादर पड़ी थी, ये मम्मी की साड़ी पड़ी थी, वे फाड़ी, और फाड़ के हमारे ये हाथ ऐसे बांधे, और बांध के हमारे गद्दे जो है पड़े थे वे इसमें बाथरूम में रखे। फिर हम सारे के सारे उसमें बंद कर दिए।
Ghaziabad house is targeted by the dacoits. In fact, these are the robbers, armed robbers. They went inside the house. They held hostage around 9 to 10% of the house, and they did the robbery. That was the daring robbery because they were 6 to 7 in numbers, and they ransacked the house completely. They want the money, they want the cash. If you see, my video journalist Sachin Rawat is showing you the visuals from inside, how they mismanaged the house, the room completely. They ransacked the house. Very interestingly, I would like to show you that this is the grill. From this grill, because it's a ground floor from where we are reporting, this ground floor is a kitchen, and from this kitchen's grill that they first removed this grill, and then one by one they entered inside. After entering over here, then they reached to the other rooms. In fact, the people, because there were 10 persons were at that point in time sleeping at various rooms, they went this room also. They, in fact, held hostage around 2 to 3 persons who were sleeping. These were women and children, because they were arms, because they were carrying arms, pistols. So then they, in fact, beaten up the senior citizen as well who was staying, and another man, and also the women and children, all were beaten up. And in fact, if you go to the other room, then they in fact tied their hands, gagged them, and then they push them into this washroom, this toilet, and there you can see there are mats as well. And then they were asked, the family members were asked to give them the keys, but the family members, when they did not give the key, then they started breaking the locks of the almiras, and later after that they found out the jewelries, the cash, and whatever the valuables, the mobile phones, whatever they got, they took away with all those things. Now the family members say that later after that they informed the police. They tried to call multiple times the police did not come at that time. Then somebody from the family members themselves went to the police station and informed about this robbery. Now the police say that they have registered the case and further investigating the matter. With video journalist Sachin Rawat, I am Alok from Mirror Now.
And moving on now, the visuals that are going to come up for you on your screens are dramatic visuals of the Indian Army's bomb disposal squad now neutralizing 2 live bombs now in a residential area along the line of control in Poonch. Those are the visuals there on your screen of this dramatic visuals of the Indian Army's bomb disposal squad, which is neutralizing 2 live bombs. This is happening in a residential area along the line of control in Poonch. And on that note, it's time to wrap up this edition. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to Mirror Now.